February 18, 2026, Tehran. Iranian state television airs a 7-minute video. CGI missiles shred a CGI aircraft carrier. CGI sailors fall into a CGI sea. CGI F-35s tumble off a CGI flight deck in slow motion. Khamenei's voice plays over it. The weapon that can send it to the bottom of the sea is more dangerous than the warship. The video gets 816,000 views in the first hour. February 28, 2026, 04:15 hours. Arabian Sea, 28 degrees north, 58 degrees east. USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN-72, is still on station. She hasn't moved. Khamenei is dead. The carrier he built 1,000 missiles to sink is watching the sun come up over the water. Here is the question that should keep every defense analyst up tonight. Why did the most determined anti-carrier program in history, 35 years, billions of dollars, hypersonic missiles, mine warfare, swarm doctrine, AI propaganda, why did all of it end with a fake video? Stay with me. Because the answer isn't about missiles. It's about one detail that Khamenei never understood, and the US Navy never advertised. What happened in the last 24 hours isn't just a military operation, it's the end of a doctrine. Since 1989, the year Khamenei took power, Iran's entire strategic posture in the Persian Gulf has been built on a single premise: that the political cost of losing a US aircraft carrier would be too high for any American president to bear. Make the carrier the liability, make its presence the vulnerability. He forced the United States to choose between maintaining its naval presence and accepting catastrophic risk. That premise shaped every dollar Iran spent on missiles, every test in the Strait of Hormuz, every swarm exercise with fast attack boats, every underground silo, every IRGC naval commander's career. If it worked, 20% of the world's oil supply, the credibility of every American security guarantee in the region. Or the alliance architecture Washington spent 50 years building, all of it becomes negotiable. What the IRGC didn't know, and what changed everything, was already in position. It had been there for 38 days. Nobody outside a classified briefing room knew exactly what it could do. We'll come back to that. Every sailor who did a Gulf deployment in the 1990s knows exactly what the order to increase readiness posture in the Strait of Hormuz means. On the last time something this close happened was April 14, 1988. The guided missile frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts is transiting the Persian Gulf on Operation Earnest Will, escorting reflagged Kuwaiti tankers through Iranian mine operations, 1645 hours. Lookout spot mines. Captain Paul Rinn orders battle stations. They back the ship. Not fast enough, the mine detonates. 25-foot hole in the hull. Keel broken. Fire in 2 main spaces. According to the Naval History and Heritage Command, flooding one more space sends her down. 10 sailors severely injured. 4 badly burned. No one dies. The crew saves their ship with damage control that the Naval Institute would later call extraordinary. 4 days later, Operation Mantis. 9 U.S. ships. 1 carrier air wing off USS Enterprise CVN-65. 1 day. Iran loses 2 frigates, a missile boat, 2 oil platforms used as command posts. Nearly half their operational fleet gone. The Iranian fast attack boat Joshan, carrying Iran's only functioning Harpoon missile in their entire inventory, sorties to challenge the U.S. fleet. She fires first. The Harpoon misses USS Wainwright by 100 feet. USS Simpson and USS Wainwright reply with 4 missiles. Joshan sinks. 100 feet. The best weapon Iran had in 1988. Missed by 100 feet. Then the ship that fired it went to the bottom. Khamenei took power the following year. He watched all of this. And he spent the next 35 years making sure it wouldn't be 100 feet next time. But this time, the technology he was chasing was 2 generations ahead of anything that existed in 1988. And the Navy had been building the answer before he finished building the question. Do not mistake what Khamenei built for a fantasy. The IISS, the International Institute for Strategic Studies, estimated Iran's anti-ship cruise missile inventory at 1,000 to 1,200 missiles by 2026. That number is not propaganda. No, it's a verified count from one of the most credible defense research organizations on Earth. Here's how he built it. 1995. Iran signs a contract for 60 Chinese C-802 anti-ship missiles. The United States pressures Beijing to cancel. The deal collapses after 60 missiles are delivered. Most governments would accept the loss and move on. Khamenei didn't. He reverse-engineered every single one. What came out of that program was the Noor, Iran's indigenous C-802 variant. Range, 170 kilometers. Sea-skimming flight profile, radar-guided terminal homing. Then the Qadr, 200-kilometer range, 200-kilogram warhead. Then the Ghadir, 300 kilometers, improved sea-skimming to defeat low-altitude radar coverage. Then the Abu Mahdi, 1,000-kilometer range, AI-assisted mid-course path alteration. From 60 missiles Washington tried to block, to 1,200 missiles in 35 years. That's not incompetence, that's determination. For the carriers specifically, Khamenei built the Khalij Fars, Persian Gulf, in Arabic, a solid-fuel anti-ship ballistic missile, range 300 kilometers, speed Mach 3 to Mach 4, warhead 650 kilograms. It doesn't skim the water, it plunges from altitude at supersonic speed, specifically engineered to attack from the one angle that creates the shortest intercept window for Aegis radar systems. Then, June 2023, he unveiled the Fattah 1 hypersonic missile, range 1,400 kilometers, speed Mach 13 to Mach 15. Immaneuverable re-entry vehicle, designed to change course in terminal flight inside the kill chain after the intercept solution is already computed. On February 17, 2026, 11 days before he died, Khamenei stood before a crowd in Tabriz and said this, and I'm quoting his exact words, "The strongest military in the world might get a slap from which it would fail to recover. They keep saying they've sent a warship toward Iran. A warship is certainly dangerous. But more dangerous is the weapon that can sink it to the bottom of the sea." He didn't name the weapon. Analysts say the deliberate ambiguity was the strategy. Keep the US Navy uncertain which system he meant. Make the uncertainty itself the deterrent. His state television couldn't wait. February 18th. The next morning, OFOG TV airs the AI simulation. 7 minutes. CGI Fattah missiles. CGI carrier splitting in two. They wanted the world to see what Khamenei wouldn't name. So, you have 1,200 missiles, a hypersonic weapon, a carrier-killer ballistic missile, swarm doctrine, mine warfare, 5,000 naval mines in stockpile, submarines, and strategic ambiguity about which system matters most. How do you stop something like this? Here's how. Start with the Noor, sea-skimming cruise missile, flies at wavetop height, sometimes as low as 5 meters, to stay below radar line of sight. The idea is to get inside the defender's response window before detection. You can think of it like a car that turns off its headlights on a dark highway to avoid being seen. It works until the road has speed bumps. Those speed bumps are AN/SPY, 1D radar arrays on Arleigh Burke destroyers. The SPY-1D doesn't just look forward, it's a phased array radar, 4.5 square meters of antenna panels rotating electronically rather than mechanically, tracking over 100 targets simultaneously at ranges beyond 200 nautical miles. The upgrade specifically introduced for the Gulf threat environment added detection algorithms tuned to low-altitude sea-skimming profiles. The Noor's entire stealth concept, fly low, avoid radar, runs directly into a system that was modified to look exactly where the Noor hides. Now do the math on the Khalij Fars ballistic missile, Mach 3 to Mach 4. Let's use Mach 3, the conservative figure. That's approximately 1,000 meters per second. The Khalij Fars has a range of 300 kilometers. From launch to impact, roughly 5 minutes. An SM-3 Block 2A interceptor, the ship-launched ballistic missile defense weapon on Burke-class destroyers, has a closing speed exceeding 3 kilometers per second against a ballistic target. Engagement window, approximately 90 seconds. In April 2024, when Iran fired 120 ballistic missiles toward Israel, U.S. Navy destroyers in the eastern Mediterranean engaged them with SM-3 interceptors. It worked. In October 2024, 200 ballistic missiles. Your same result. The Khalij Fars is real. The SM-3 is the answer that was already built before the question was finished. Now the Fattah hypersonic, Mach 15 maneuvering re-entry vehicle. This is where every defense analyst will tell you it gets genuinely difficult. And they're right. A hypersonic glide vehicle maneuvering at Mach 15 compresses the intercept timeline to seconds. Yes, the Aegis block upgrade incorporated tracking algorithms for exactly this flight profile, but there's no clean intercept solution yet. This is the honest acknowledgement. What there is, and this is the misdirection reveal, is something Iran's propaganda video couldn't simulate. February 5th, 2026, 11:27 hours, Arabian Sea. An Iranian Shahed 139 reconnaissance drone approaches USS Abraham Lincoln with, in CENTCOM's words, unclear intent. An F-35C Lightning II launched from CVN-72 detects, tracks, and destroys it. Here's what that means. The F-35C's radar cross-section is approximately the size of a golf ball. The Shahed's passive infrared sensors couldn't see it coming. The F-35 was invisible on radar, found the drone close to within firing range, and killed it before the Shahed's controllers knew an intercept was underway. Iran's AI video showed their missiles hitting a carrier. What the video couldn't show, what no CGI team can simulate, is a fifth-generation stealth fighter that the enemy can't see, operating from a nuclear-powered carrier the enemy can't reach, guided by a battle management system processing 100 threats simultaneously from a ship 60 miles away. The Fattah is fast. The F-35C is invisible. Speed versus stealth. Khamenei chose speed. The Navy chose stealth. That decision made on a flight deck in the Arabian Sea on February 5th. That's the detail that changes every calculation. The hidden operation wasn't a missile. It was what the missile couldn't find. February 28th, 2026, 0:24:7 hours. The carrier is already at modified Zebra, the highest damage control readiness that doesn't require full battle stations. This has been standard posture for 11 days, since Khamenei's speech, 0312, flash traffic from CENTCOM. Strike packages are airborne from bases in Jordan and Saudi Arabia. The operation is live. The carrier doesn't launch strike aircraft. That's not her mission tonight. Her mission is to be there, to be unmovable, to be the thing that doesn't flinch. Her carrier Air Wing 9 begins combat air patrol rotations, F-35CS invisible on Iranian radar. EA-18G Growlers activating their jamming suites, AN/ALQ-99, and the newer next-generation jammer pods, flooding the frequency bands Iran's air defense radars depend on. E-2D Advanced Hawkeyes climbing to altitude, their AN/APY-9 radar sweeping 350 miles in every direction, feeding the tactical picture to every ship in the strike group simultaneously. 0414 USS Spruance DDG-111. Her Aegis system goes to full active tracking. The SPY-1D illuminates. 143 tracks cataloged in the first sweep. 0318. An IRGC colonel is looking at his radar display. What he sees? USS Abraham Lincoln, 280 kilometers southwest. Her strike group, 3 Arleigh Burke destroyers visible on surface radar. He cannot see the submarines beneath. He cannot see the F-35s at altitude. He cannot see what the Growlers are doing to his radar's ability to give him accurate returns. He reaches for a phone, reports his status as operational. He orders his fast attack boat commanders to hold position pending further authorization. What he doesn't know, the authorization chain above him has just been severed. 3 separate strikes have hit IRGC command nodes in Tehran in the last 22 minutes. He doesn't know yet. He's still waiting for orders that are not coming. 0329. A Khalij Fars battery is at launch ready. The crew is professional. They've trained on this system for 4 years. The battery commander spent his career mastering a weapon specifically designed to kill what's sitting 280 kilometers off his coast. He knows the Khalij Fars' terminal dive profile. He knows the intercept window math. He genuinely believes, based on everything he's been trained to believe, that his missile can defeat an Aegis engagement. He is not stupid. He is not a coward. He is a professional who spent his career serving a doctrine. He is waiting for the launch authorization. It doesn't come. 0415. Iranian retaliation begins. Not from the coastal batteries, from ballistic missile sites further inland. CENTCOM confirms 150 missiles inbound across 7 countries. Iranian targets include U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain, Al Udeid in Qatar, Al Salem in Kuwait. USS Abraham Lincoln strike group enters full active defense, 0417. USS Michael Murphy, DDG-112, SM-2 intercept. First inbound confirmed destroyed, no crew announcement. On just the weapons officer noting the kill on his board, 0421. USS Frank E. Peterson Jr., DDG-121, SM-3 Block 2. A engagement, ballistic track terminal phase. Intercept confirmed, 0429. 4 more intercepts across the strike group. Flat voices on net. Tactical language. Kill confirmations the way a craftsman might describe finishing a piece of work. 0445. CENTCOM. Battle damage assessment begins. USS Abraham Lincoln. On station. 0 casualties, 0 damage. USS Gerald R. Ford. On station. Your 0 casualties, 0 damage. The Khalij Fars battery in Hormozgan never fired. The weapon Khamenei wouldn't name on February 17th never launched. The AI simulation from OFOG TV played 816,000 times on the internet. The real version played 0 times in the Arabian Sea. Don't let the kill confirmations fool you. Nothing about this was free. USS Gerald R. Ford. CVN-78. The most advanced warship ever constructed. 100,000 tons. $13 billion in acquisition costs. Nearly 300 days at sea as of February 28th. According to Defense Security Asia's documented reporting that potentially exceeds the post-Vietnam deployment record. One sailor told reporters that the repeated extensions have made this mission several times more difficult. One crew member reportedly missed the death of a family member because of a deployment extension. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Daryl Caudle called himself a big non-fan of extensions. He said they have a significant human cost. Those 4,600 sailors on the Ford, away from home, running on discipline, dealing with documented sewage system malfunctions on a $13 billion ship because emails and advanced arresting gear got the development budget and the plumbing didn't. And this, Iran's retaliation on February 28th, didn't miss everywhere. They targeted Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Or they targeted the AN/FPS-132 early warning radar, a $1.1 billion Raytheon system built to detect Iranian ballistic missiles from 5,000 kilometers. According to the Qatari Ministry of Defense, Iranian missiles destroyed it, a $1.1 billion asset, gone. Bahrain's sirens went off. The 5th Fleet headquarters was targeted. Iranian missiles struck Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan. The defense held. But it held is not the same as it cost nothing. According to Fox News reporting, Iran was reportedly close to finalizing a deal with China for the CM-302 supersonic anti-ship cruise missile, a weapon traveling at Mach 3 at sea. Skimming altitude designed specifically to defeat the intercept solutions that stopped everything else. RUSI analyst Dr. Alessandro Arduino called it a complete game changer. Had that deal closed, this analysis would read differently. It didn't close, but it was close. And this is the thing about maintaining a carrier presence in the Persian Gulf for 35 consecutive years. It costs money. It costs deployments. It costs families. It costs maintenance cycles deferred and sailors pushed past reasonable limits. America pays it. Every rotation, every extension, every time. Not because it's cheap, because the alternative is worse. February 18, 2026. Tehran. Iranian state television aired that 7-minute video. In it, the Fattah hypersonic missile launches. Khamenei's voice plays. The CGI carrier splits in two. CGI sailors fall into CGI water. The video's Arabic title translates as The Nightmare of the Vultures. The production team at OFOG TV worked presumably for weeks. They rendered the superstructure of USS Abraham Lincoln accurately. They got the F-35C silhouette right. They simulated a launch sequence consistent with the Fattah's known flight profile. They were thorough. They had to be, because they couldn't use real footage. Because in 35 years, 1,000 cruise missiles, ballistic carrier killers, a hypersonic weapon, swarm doctrine, mine warfare, proxy forces, drone programs, billions spent, not one Iranian weapon system ever put a US carrier on the ocean floor. Khamenei stood in Tabriz on February 17th and told a crowd that the weapon capable of sinking a carrier was more dangerous than the carrier itself. He said it with conviction. He'd spent his entire time in power building that weapon. He believed in it the way a man believes in something he sacrificed everything for. He didn't name it. Analysts say that was strategy. Let the ambiguity do the work. I think he didn't name it for a simpler reason. He wasn't sure which one it was. He built 1,200 missiles and a hypersonic weapon and a ballistic carrier killer. And he still wasn't sure, because the target had never held still. Every time he built an answer, the Navy had already changed the question, upgraded the radar, deployed the interceptor, made the fighter invisible, moved the ship. February 28, 2026, 06:12 hours. Arabian Sea, USS Abraham Lincoln is on station. The sun is coming up over the water. Her flight deck is active. An F-35C touches down on the number 3 wire, clean trap, and the arresting gear takes the load. Somewhere in a building in Tehran, Khamenei's voice is still playing on a loop on OFOG TV. The CGI carrier is still splitting in two, 816,000 views, more every hour. Yes, the real one is still on station. 35 years, 1,200 missiles, one obsession, and a 7-minute AI video, because in the end, that's the only version of this story where it worked. They keep saying they sent a warship toward Iran. He said that on February 17th. He was right. They did send one. It's still there. If you wore the uniform and you got that watch rotation on February 28th, what goes through your head when the first intercept confirms and you're still on station? Tell me in the comments.